this is Anne Sermons Gillis, and I want to talk to you about having an easier life. I call this EZosophy. Now, this is not about being lazy and not doing anything and not working, but it's about having a non-efforting flow so that our emotions are not blown around with the winds. And the way that we begin with letting go of suffering is that we begin to change our minds, we begin to change our thoughts, and we begin to use tools and techniques that help keep our emotions in check or express our emotions in a way that they no longer guide us. We don't want our emotions to guide us. Our negative emotions. We don't want fear to be our guide. We don't want suffering to be our guide. And so you heard the word ego, and I do interchange that because in the East they use the word ego more, and I tend to use egoic mind because it's not, it seems to be an easier way for me to explain it, but I'd like to just talk a little bit about the spiritual journey to ease. The first thing we do is that we begin to build ourselves. We might have low self-esteem, we don't think things are going to work out for us, so we do what it takes to heal the trauma of our childhood, the trauma that we got from our culture that squelched our aliveness. We begin to heal those things. And so we develop self-esteem, we develop self-worth, and we feel better about ourselves. And people could say, well, that's just it. Well, it's not just it, because if you found that you've worked on yourself and you've gotten a lot of things straight, that there's still something left. And what that is that after we find out who we think we are and we clear away a lot of the debris from the past, then we find that there's still a yearning there, and that yearning there is looking for our true self. So we have to begin to surrender the self that we thought we were, the one that we're fixing up and trying to make better. We surrender that. But now you don't start with surrender, because if you surrender your egoic self, your egoic mind, your personal life, if you try to surrender that before you even know what it is, you can't do it. It's like we can't give up something that we didn't know that we had. So we have to, it's this spiritual journey, it's this progression. And so we heal ourselves and our emotions, and then we begin to let go of things like personal preferences. It doesn't mean that you can't get eat the food that you want, but it means that we live in somewhat of a not knowing situation. That means that if I don't know what the moment holds, then I can come clearly into the moment. The way of the egoic mind, the way of the past, the thing that we're surrendering to, is the mind that thinks it knows how the moment should turn out. It thinks it knows when the moment is happening, exactly what this means. But the mind of ease is a mind that watches, that celebrates whatever it is, whatever's going on, and is more at peace. And so there's this movement from fixing ourselves up, healing ourselves, to surrendering ourselves to a higher power. And this is sometimes this is done really quickly. We can kind of give it up and have this awakening, and then sometimes it's start and stop, giving it up, taking it back, giving it up, taking it back. But it's uncomfortable to go from this thing, especially if we have the need to control things. For people that get a new thought and find out that thought is creative, they get really excited because they think they can control everything. Oh boy, I can just get affirmations, I can just change my mind, I can have the right attitude, I can be a positive thinker, I can control it all. And that's not really going to work. It can work just from changing our mind from a very negative direction to a better direction. But controlling life is still controlling life, whether we're trying to control for the good or control for the bad. What we need to do is learn how to relax into this ongoing movement of ease and flow into our lives. And that's our life's journey. And that is learning how to move from this sense of control, this sense of individual self, into a sense of oneness, into a sense of peace, and into a sense of surrender. We can surrender very easily when we know everything is okay. And when we're one with our source, we know everything is okay. And we can surrender. But when we're under the ego's direction, the egoic mind, so to speak, we don't know everything is okay. So we're trying to control. It takes so much energy to do that, so much energy. But when we let go, and let go means to stop thinking about something. And it also means to know that there's something bigger and more powerful than our local mind and the way we've always thought. It's not developing a plan, oh, I'm going to do this. It's more like I'm going to undo this. I'm going to undo this. So I hope you've had a good day today. I want you to know for sure that I love you, and I hope you can take a few ideas from this video to make your life easier.